Hello everybody and welcome to F1 2017 Career Mode. First of all, I should apologise that this episode has taken quite so long to record. I've had to really get used to the different handling physics on this game compared to 2016, and it's been a challenge for me. The amount of crashes I've had and difficulty under braking, and it's just been what's the date now? It's been like 3 weeks of just continuous stress and rage trying to figure out the handling of these cars, but we got there in the end. As you can see, it's slightly different from the last game. We're now driving for a new team. We're driving for Ferrari. Kimi Räikkönen officially retired in between games, I guess, so we were recruited to take his spot. Actually, at this point, let's put a screenshot up consisting of our helmet choice for the year and our driver details, which actually, to my surprise, carried over from F1 2016. Wasn't sure if they would do that or not, but they did. That saved a shitload of time having to go through and set myself up again, so that was a good point. And I think with that, we'll head over to the grid and we'll get ready to start the formation lap. I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, let's get ready to begin this formation lap then. Parish notice time. I actually qualified first for this, but because of an incident, how I've missed your voice. Yeah, because of an incident in free practice involving Lance Stroll, we ended up getting a 5-place grid penalty. So we qualified first. We're actually starting 6th. I'll tell you what happened is, I was on a flying lap in my qualifying sim, I think it was, or some practice program, and he decided he was going to park it on the apex of one of the corners. I assumed, stupidly, that he would move out of my way, consequently drove straight up his backside, which then nudged him into the outside wall, not at this corner, but the next corner, the slow chicane coming up. He then bounced off the wall, hit me, retired on the spot, and I was deemed to blame for that, when personally my argument would be he shouldn't have been so stupid as to park it on the apex to let me past. He should have moved out of the way. But I got the grid penalty. I was pretty pissed at this. I rage quit the game immediately after that. Then had to come back and do the rest of the practice and the qualifying. But, you know, shit happens where AI is concerned in any game. We're going to have to be reasonably aggressive because I still believe this car has the pace to at least get in the top 2 here. I'm aiming to win this race still. I believe we have a car that's fast enough to do that, but we need to get past the guys in front, get ourselves on the preferred strategy. The AI takes over now, and we come out of the final corner to reform the grid. Very slow process this. It takes a while for the whole grid to form up.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
A few words of wisdom from our engineer, as ever. And away we go for the first race of this 2017 career mode. It's a pretty decent start, but the Williams has come out of nowhere on us. We're going to dive bomb. Verstappen is it in front of us. Crucial for our race that we got past that Red Bull. The guy who effectively took my seat from last year. So look, already we need to close down a reasonable gap to our teammate in the 2 Mercedes. Hamilton is making a break for it up front. We need to do something about these two. That's our next priority. getting past this Mercedes. Oh, we're late into braking and he's had a lock-up. We're gonna go for it. Don't squeeze me to the wall. I'm on the grass. We make it stick. Don't run wide. Ooh, I thought I was heading for the grass there. Well, the AI certainly like to race you on this game. They're aggressive. Nail this fast chicane. I love this on the car. We're in a little bit wide on the exit. We just about get away with it. Now let's keep our attention on our teammate and Hamilton out front. Always get understeer through that last corner. Brake pretty late. Aim for the apex, don't go too wide. Really understeer. I've really been having understeer with this car, and I didn't figure out why until it was too late to change the setup. But so we're just gonna have to roll with the way the car handles now. Nothing I can do about it. It's especially bad on these ultra soft tires for some reason. Hopefully when we put the super softs on, it won't be so much of an issue. We go fastest of all through the first sector. And I think this corner here, this chicane, this is where I'm giving up so much time. So everybody else, I'm losing a heap of time through there and I just can't figure out how to attack it. However, this next chicane, this fast left-right flick, oh, we made a mess of that. So that kind of negates what I was going to say, but that's where we seem to make up most of our time. And then we're reasonably strong in this final sector. Love this corner. Except when you run wide and almost onto the gravel. That's not a good way to take that corner. A bit more curb through the final corner. Sneak the fastest lap away from the two drivers in front. Nail that apex. Try and get a good run on our teammate Vettel. We're braking late, Jesus! I did not expect that to turn into an overtake. I just almost missed my braking point there and sailed up the inside of him. It's a good job he moved out the way, because otherwise we'd have probably hit each other. Wider than I wanted through the first corner. Keep the pressure on Lewis here. We might get a tow down the next bit of the track. We're still just that little bit faster in a straight line than we can manage at the moment. It's better through that fast chicane. Got a good run on him. We can get in the slipstream. Can we dive in? Not quite. Not quite close enough. Get the DRS on him. Get a second bite of it down this second straight. Just not quite close enough to have a move. I actually got a little bit wider there than I intended to. gave up some time. He's locked up. He made a mistake and we've just breezed through to take the lead. Make a complete mess of the chicane because I did not expect to be leading this race so early on. Yeah, they're not bulletproof then. They do make mistakes, as of course so do I. But the AI can have lockups on this game. It changes the whole dynamic of this race for us, because now we need to push like hell to build a gap. Our pit window has opened, so we're probably coming in at the end of this lap. We need to get everything we can out of these ultra soft tyres now and just push like a madman. Make a meal of that chicane again. Defend the inside. That was scrappy is the word I choose to describe that sector. We come in and we have manual pit stops on, so we're going to have to remember the speed limit. And of course this year we're going to have to remember the mechanic for the other half of the pit lane to put the clutch on and go. Could have been a bit quicker, but I really like that mechanic now, how pit stops are more in your control. It's a really interesting feature. We just have to engage the pit limiter and disengage it now. It just adds an extra element of player control. Really, really interesting feature, and I'm sure it's going to catch me out at some point. Work our way through these slower cars here. We need to clear them as quickly as possible so our strategy isn't affected, but no room to get past Hulkenberg there. Can't risk our front wing on slower cars today if we want to win this race. Jesus. I say that about risking our wing, we almost drive straight into the back of the Renault. That's everybody else pitting in, and that's why taking the lead so early was crucial to make that strategy work, because it means we get the opportunity to undercut. Magnussen very helpfully moves out of our way and gives us a blast of DRS in the process. And there's our rivals coming out of the pits right now, and we maintain the lead. We get a second go at the DRS. And now we have to do a bit of run to the hills to try and build a gap to our rivals for this race win. Purple middle sector, that's a good start. First sector, sorry. Get on the straight, we'll get the DRS open. We'll make our move on Perez. Maybe we won't make our move on Perez. Another lockup by an AI. That was Carlos Sainz that time having a lockup, leaving the door open for us. Getting a good run on Ocon here, and we'll dive him under braking. That could have worked out so much worse for us in all that traffic, but I think we've made it count. For the time being, at least. That wasn't the best lap by us, actually. That was, gave quite a bit of time away to Hamilton behind us. I can really feel I'm having trouble with these ultra soft tyres now. They seem a bit delicate. Just a little deep through that second to last corner.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on certain seconds. Repeat now, there's interference.
Still set a fastest lap. That's a surprise.
Serving up to our teammate is 12.1 seconds. Is 8.4 seconds.
8.4 seems a reasonable gap to try and hold. We're not getting it much past that, but we are occasionally dipping under that.
Pit window is open. Pit window is open.
As the engineers call that the pit window is open, so this is probably going to be our in lap.
Okay, we can take this up.
In fact, it's definitely going to be our in lap. I don't fancy trying to stretch these ultra softs any further than I have to. Okay, let's get the pit limiter right. Let's not get a stupid penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Into a nice shiny red box of mechanics. Hold the clutch.
Release.
And as long as we get the limiter off at the right time, we should be okay.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
As long as we don't do anything remotely dense and idiotic, we should be in prime position to take the checkered flag. We do need to warm these tyres up a bit though, I think, as a bit understeery. At least we came out with a clear track this time. There's nothing immediately in front of us to worry about. I think the next car up the road is actually our teammate, and he should be coming into the pits within the next couple of laps anyway, so... I beg pardon. Make a mess of that corner. interesting. Nobody in front of us came in that lap. They're trying to stretch their tyres at least one more lap. Make a bit of a mess of that corner too. Just about get away with it. Nailed that one though. It's a very satisfying feeling when you get a corner right. Especially this one. And that was nothing like getting it right at all. Okay, we have Vettel in the pits. I should imagine that means that Hamilton is in the pits also. We're good on fuel, so I don't think we have to do any more fuel saving in this race. So for the next few laps we're going to push as hard as we can and try and put the gap beyond Hamilton's reach. Getting deep there isn't going to help with that too much. Wow, that was terrible first corner. Christ, that was bad. Let's put it that way. That was just bad. Ah, that wasn't much better than the first corner, to be honest. Probably a sign I'm trying to push too hard. Surprised I didn't get a corner cut warning for either of those, really. coming up on a back marker. Don't know who it is. Can't tell from this distance. Maybe a McLaren. I think it's a McLaren. Maybe Van Dorn. Uses toe to gain a few tenths. Catch this Sauber at the worst possible time. I need to get him out the way, hopefully before the chicane, but I don't think I'm going to be close enough for that. That's why I wanted to get him out the way before the chicane, because they just don't know what you're going to do through there. Back markers sometimes. They really put you out of your rhythm. I don't suppose we have too much to worry about behind, but I do not want to go in and lose my front wing on one of them. We have the other Sauber second or two down the road. We'll probably catch him some point during the third sector, I'd have thought. Mistake on the grass. Thought he was gonna lose it and spear across the track into us for a second there. It certainly took a lot of inside to move out of our way. Six laps to go. There's nothing else in front of us for the time being. Well, that's good, because we have 5 laps of the race to go, so we're obviously not going to run out then, are we? Still as pessimistic as ever is our Jeff. Wouldn't want him any other way.
You're increasing the gap with the car behind by 5/10 per
Oh wow, he said something positive. He does do positivity. Just keep thinking positive thoughts, Jeff. We're gonna start thinking about trying to take the strain out of some of our engine components sometime soon, I think. No point pushing them all the way to the absolute limit if we don't have to. That works out better in the long run. As I mentioned earlier on in this race, it's imperative to try and stretch your engine parts out this year, because you will get grip penalties if you have to make changes before you're allowed to, so. And that could be relevant to Ocon, who has dropped out of the race. So if that's a mechanical, he might have trouble stretching his engines and various components throughout the season. You only get 4 of the engine, remember. And 20 odd races is a long way to stretch 4 engines. There he is, just in the slip road in front of us. Looked fairly mechanical to me. I don't think he'd lost a wheel or anything. There's no debris on track because they haven't called for a safety car or a virtual safety car. They are prone to call at least a virtual safety car if there's debris on the track now, so I'd say that was just a mechanical issue for him. We're going to start saving our mechanical components over these next couple of laps. We have more than enough gap in hand to be able to do that. I'm going to bring the car across the line to start the final lap right now, and we're just gonna save as much as we can. We had to be aggressive early on in this race to get our preferred strategy to work. We managed that earlier than I meant to. I will admit the overtake on my teammate Vettel wasn't entirely how I imagined it would be. I just sort of missed my braking point and ended up having to sail one up the inside of him. Fortunately, he knew I was there and stayed out of my way. Otherwise, that could have been game over for both of us, and that does not go down well when you drive for Ferrari. Just a couple more corners to go. Nearly make a mistake in the final few corners. Just keep ourselves a good distance from this McLaren. Crawl out of these last 2 corners. Watch the wall on the exit. Lose Felipe Massa on the last lap of the race. And win on our debut for Ferrari. That's how it's done.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
Okay, there you have it. From 6th on the grid, we fought our way past the 2 Mercedes and our teammate. We took the win by just under 8.5 seconds by the end, but we were cruising, saving our engine parts. The 2 Mercedes complete the podium behind us. I have no idea what happened to Vettel. He must have got caught up in traffic, I guess. Cost him the final podium place. Then the 2 Red Bulls, and then Perez and Hulkenberg did quite well actually, up from 13th and 12th. Sainz getting 2 points from 11th, and unbelievably there is a point on the board for Jolyon Palmer already. He hasn't managed it in the real life season, but he's breaking his duck on this game. Somehow Danny Kvyat got driver of the day. I guess he made up a fair few places, in fairness, but he didn't get any points for it. There's the lower half of the results. You see Ocon and Massa did indeed not finish the race, although because Massa wasn't a lap down, he's still classified ahead. He's actually in 15th, so because he hadn't been lapped, he still gets classified in 15th. Take a look at the completely irrelevant standings at this stage in the season, and we're leading by 7 points. Our teammate down there in 4th. And here's the Constructors table, just 4 points the difference between us and Mercedes. Expecting it to be a pretty close battle all season long between the two of us, just as it is in the real life season. Something to look forward to. Anyway, that is going to do it for this first episode of F1 2017 Career Mode. Had a lot of fun making it. I do hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I will see you in round 2 in China, I believe. So until then, take care and goodbye.